Bryant Street Publishing presents Make You Mine by Molly O'Keefe. Read for you by Tim Paige. 1. Lloyd's occupied that sweet spot between dive bar and shithole. The 20-somethings that had taken over all the other good drinking spots in Hell's Kitchen had so far stayed away from Lloyd's, so no one was wearing suspenders, and the Waylon Jennings on the sound system was unironic. The bar was sticky, the beer was cheap, the bottles of the good stuff on the top shelf were covered in an inch of dust. But the best part was the television over the bar that only played ESPN, never CNN. So no one ever knew who he was here. For all of those reasons, it was Jay's favorite bar. He shoved open the door with perhaps a bit more force than necessary, and the string holding the bell over the door chose that moment to give it the ghost. The bell fell down, bouncing off Jay's head and shoulder to the floor. Jesus, really? "What did that bell do to you?" Lloyd asked from behind the bar. "I don't know," Jay said, picking it up and setting it on the end of the bar. "What the hell did I do to it?" "Same thing you did to that asshole on CNN?" Lloyd asked, and Jay glanced at the TV. Of course tonight they'd changed the channel. He looked over the dozen or so people in the bar, and about 3/4 of them started clapping. The rest of them grumbled into their beer, shooting him sideways glances. Seems about right, he thought, consistent with polling numbers. Or maybe the people clapping just liked seeing brawls on TV. He lifted his hands to the people clapping, trying to shush them. When that didn't work, he ignored them. The Jameson shot and the Bud Chaser were waiting for him at his seat at the corner of the bar. "On me," Lloyd said. "I've been waiting a long time for someone to punch that asshole in the face. How's the hand?" Jay put his hand on the wooden bar, opening and closing his fist. "Hurts like hell," he said. The knuckles were scraped up pretty good, not so much from the punch, but from the fall. What a clusterfuck. What a fucking clusterfuck. "Here." Lloyd set a plastic bag filled with ice next to the sweating bottle of Bud, and Jay put it over his knuckles, wincing at the sting. The Jameson went down nice and hot, and the Bud cooled it right off. "Another?" Lloyd asked, not even raising his eyebrow. Another reason why this place was Jay's favorite. When a man came in to get good and drunk, Lloyd didn't pass judgment. He greased the wheels. Sometimes he put a glass of water on the bar next to the shot. Sometimes he put a cheeseburger down instead of a shot. But
Sample complete. Ready to continue?